DEBTbox community, we got Jake here, and I got a special guest with me today for the Debt Insider. We're going to do kind of something a little bit different. We don't get this opportunity much, but with us today, Roy Nelson. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, buddy. How you doing?
We're doing well. I don't know if you know this, but we filmed a couple podcasts over the last little bit in regard specifically to NatG and BGLD. NatG specifically because we just went through the halving July 1st.
Yep.
Some of the tokenomics are starting to take, effect. And one of the things that we stress a lot here is that mix between the digital and the physical side. We try to explain to people constantly that relationship between, supply and demand. The digital side kind of handles the supply, the physical side handles the demand, and the relationship between that. And one of the things we're excited about that's coming forward is the layer one, obviously, because that's going to give people really a bird's eye view of exactly what's going on the physical side, because it's really hard to get real-time updates of what's going on in all these different sites, all these different areas that we're in. But today, it's a special opportunity for us to share some of those updates that's going on in the digital side of things or the physical side of things. So with that, why don't you tell us what's going on with BGLD and NatG, some of the new updates that are happening?
So it's actually pretty exciting. We're working right now so that we can integrate with the L1 to be able to bring some of these meters in so that we get real-time data coming into the feed, so anybody can look and see what's being produced on any given well. A lot of the progress that we've made in Oklahoma is the pipeline. So the pipeline's extremely exciting on the NatG side. And the wells that have been brought online, we're getting ready to start delivering oil to Conoco.
So this is kind of exciting because I'm not sure that even as we've been to some of the events and announced some of this stuff, we've talked a lot about the wells that are coming online, but I don't think we've talked at all about the pipeline. And that's kind of something that's been in the works for the last year, really.
Yeah.
And we've been building out the infrastructure and kind of, I like to equate it to bamboo, right?
Yes.
When you plant a bamboo seed, there's a lot that takes place under the ground for years as it's building kind of this foundation, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it just starts pluck, 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 and growing like weeds. So the pipeline is kind of that underground infrastructure that we've been working and planning out. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I can, yeah. So we've actually been working to finalize some of the repairs that need to take place in the pipeline over the last 4 months. We've cleared a lot of the land that allows us access to those areas that you just grass. They've got this crazy grass that grows up over there called Johnson grass. And it's just nasty and it's full of ticks. So fortunately, I haven't had to deal with that, but we've had tick removal parties with the guys in the field because the ticks are so thick. But getting that removed and having that access to do those repairs on the pipeline have increased our ability to deliver gas. And so we've got just a few spots left that we'll talk about here in a minute. I brought a visual aid so that we can kind of look at that, but it's exciting. And the people in the area that have seen the work that we've done and have seen kind of how we maintain everything in the area, they're extremely excited about what we're doing. And we have people jumping on board. We've got a number of people that want to bring their gas onto the pipeline, which just further develops what we're trying to accomplish, which is royalties.
Yeah. We talk a lot about that. We're a royalty company.
Yeah.
Our job is to constantly expand that royalty that contributes to the tokenomics on the digital side of things. A lot of people don't understand all the work that goes in to these behind the scenes projects, right? And so we've had an opportunity to take small groups out to various locations, even some of the remote locations in Ghana, but it's not very easy to get to some of these places, and especially with big groups. So and now that you've explained how the tick infestation is, I'm sure it's going to be, nice to get people out there. Most people don't understand. First of all, thank you.
Yeah.
They don't understand how much time you spend out there, away from your family, away from, you've missed birthdays, holidays, all of that. And so before we kind of get into that, I just want to say how much I appreciate your efforts out there, and I know the DEBTbox community does as well.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And with that, so you got behind you a visual aid. It's a map.
Yeah, it's actually pretty exciting for us. So we've been able to bring some of the old maps from the pipeline that we've had to be able to bring someone in to rework these maps and bring them up to date. And so what I'd like to show you here on this map is all of this pipeline that you see is the pipeline we're talking about. All of this stuff. Now this is over 127 miles of pipeline. And it goes off there, way up into there. We just don't have the paper in a plotter wide enough to be able to give us the aspects.
Now, if we're looking at scale,
Yeah.
just to put this into perspective, can you give a little scale?
Absolutely. So if we look at this yellow line here, this yellow line to this yellow line is 1 mile. Each of these are put into sections, so everything is in a grid. To get around this land right here is 4 miles. And so if you look at this section to this section, that's a mile, that's a mile, that's a mile. If I get on this road, it takes me 15 minutes. It's a dirt road. It takes me 15 minutes just to get to this area up in here. I mean, it's significant. For me to travel from any part of this pipeline all the way back over to here is almost a half-hour drive. It's huge.
So,
and the people that we've had out there that have seen this, they're just like, this is ridiculous. It's just ridiculous the amount of space we have to cover in this area.
but it's really good for us too, because
For us, it's huge.
if you actually zoom out a little bit,
Yeah.
this area that we're encompassing here is actually kind of known as the oil belt.
It is. In fact, if you look at this, if you were to zoom out, and I'm going to go off the map here, running down somewhere along here, and then running way up here somewhere along here is the hot spots for oil and gas. When you get out beyond that, there's still good production, but it's less production. And there are wells that they have done up in here, freshly drilled wells that have produced free-flowing 100 barrels a day for over 3 months. And they'll finally peter out into a long run of about 50 barrels a day. And so the oil is thick in this area. It's phenomenal. The gas, some of the gas wells that have been found up in this area here were producing 1 million MCF a day. And they ran for years that way. And so, yeah, this is such a hot spot, and it's just been, fortunate that we've been able to move into this area. And, really to give some props to some of the guys that we have on the ground, they grew up in this town. And so we had them out on drilling rigs doing some of the previous work. And when the opportunity came up, they said, hey, we'd like to show you where we come from and what we've done and where we kind of cut our teeth. And that opened up a huge opportunity for us to come into these areas here and bring these guys up into understanding what BGLD and NatG is all about. And so we've got a number of operators and owners that want to contribute and participate in NatG and BGLD.
And some of the things that gives us that leverage in order to work with these locals is A, our technology that we bring to the table.
Yes.
B is just our overall approach to doing business. Some of these oil guys are shady individuals. And when you come into these areas, you don't have very many chances to develop a name for yourself. And what you do will expand out. And so you got to be really careful about how you conduct business. Word travels fast. These guys love us.
They love us. So I'd like to put a trip together. We've kind of talked a little bit about that, to bring, some select individuals out to kind of see what we've done, so that we've got other eyes besides our own eyes, besides the cameras that we have, to show and validate what we're doing. What's interesting is we started mostly in this area over here. So this is the area that we have focused on just to start, trying to keep it very centralized. It's been right around in this area. So we've got about 21 wells that do both oil and gas. The interesting thing about the oil and gas is that in this area here, we've got a well that produces really well for a day or two, and then it really slows down, and then it gives this huge gas burp, and then it goes right back up to great production. One of the things that we've worked to do is to get that gas delivery onto the pipeline. So what you'll see is there's no pipeline registered on this map in this area. Most of the pipeline that we have runs along the roads, and it's small, just just delivery system, meter run pipeline, because there's no massive pipeline needed in this area. In this area here, we've got a well that we've brought online. We ended up having to fix a number of the pipeline runs, but it runs from here over into here, and then it hits a collection station that actually sucks gas to this area. And then we have another collection station up here that sucks gas from this point. All of these wells, all of these wells, all of these wells funnel to this collection station and then funnel up here. Well, that puts us on the pipeline. One of the issues we've had on the pipeline is this is a degraded pipe here. We've got to complete that mile with new pipeline. And then the shortest route to delivery would be to come up this portion of the pipeline. We've got to complete a mile here, and then we'll connect in this area here. That gives us a straight run down, which has 2 repairs here, and then we're delivering right here to Mustang. And Mustang is a gas buyer. That's what they do. They actually clean the gas if it needs any cleaning. If there's anything that needs to be brought up to par, they'll pull that off and deliver it to the main pipeline. And so we've got that exit available as soon as we've got those few repairs done.
And these repairs, they're not massive undertakings. They're just about, we're testing the pipe, and then as we're going, we're just working our way all the way down the system to patch any repair that we need along the way. Now, we got several different colors of pipe up there. Can you explain the difference of?
So yeah, these pipelines were owned at one point in time by different groups. So this is Trey K, which is a pipeline that existed. This pipeline here in blue was part of the Anaconda. This was part of, if I remember correctly, the Coronado in here. There's part of this here was Anaconda at one point in time. And so this pipeline kind of changed hands back and forth a number of different times over many years. And fortunately enough, we were able to work with a group that had done large acquisitions. Now, some of this pipeline is still available for acquisition, like this blue section here. And we've already talked to the owner, and he's willing to work with us to be able to pick that up and bring that online.
And one of the benefits of controlling the pipeline is you, in essence, control the bridge. You control the highway. Absolutely. And all we do there is collect the toll.
Absolutely. And we've got people here that have already expressed interest with us, and over here that said, hey, can we put our gas on your pipeline so we can deliver our gas? Well, those guys own their wells, and that all that does for us, and the exciting thing about that is that brings to us royalty after royalty after royalty. So if we come across a well here that produces 100,000 MCF, a million MCF, that just benefits the ecosystem. It's just a phenomenal play for us, because it's like you said, we just want to own the highway, and we want people to pay the toll. We don't care if they drive on that highway. Drive on it two times a day, 3 times a day, because that toll becomes the royalty for the ecosystem. And so anyone watching that remembers me back in January that was in Salt Lake, I said, hey, if you're selling your Nat G licenses when they become NFTs, call me. I want them. I knew something that they didn't understand, and that was that we were looking at these things. So I'm super heavy on Nat G and BGLD because of what I see in the field all the time.
Now let's talk a little bit about the timing of this, because our side of the business, the digital side, we just went through the Nat G halving. We've seen the tokenomics kind of start to play out over the last, I think, 15 months since Nat G started. And one of the interesting things is if we look at the token total supply, because of the various burns that we have and the halvings and all of that, we've actually taken out of the market almost 75% of the coin that's been created since day one.
Which means that you can't ever get that back.
So we're constantly restricting the supply of token.
Yep.
At the same time, we have this that's about to come online.
Yep.
Which is hundreds of wells, and they've heard us talk that, I think we're up to one.
We have 150 just in this area right here that is part of the gas pipeline. And so from what we have in this area here, combined with this area here, we're just over 200.
Over 200 wells that are gonna be contributing now to the Nat G buy and burn.
And we're currently doing investigation in this whole county, which the county doesn't even fit on the map here. But in this whole county, we're currently doing our due diligence on over 500 more wells, not total, but more wells.
So if we're doing our job right, and not everybody's going to be a perfect fit,
No.
but so far we've had a very high success rate
We
of
have.
showing them our business model, showing them our technologies, and it's very, very feasible that by this time, even next year, we could have over 500 contributing to the system.
We could, yeah. I mean, it's incredible.
And
Because,
you look
and
at,
that's not something we have to go drill. That's not something we have to go. That's someone that wants to contribute what they have to the system.
it's somebody that has a resource, they're looking for a way to deploy that resource,
Yep.
and we're the highway.
Exactly.
That's phenomenal.
It's exciting.
Is there anything else you want to talk about now that we have this visual? Again, I'm excited to go out there.
You know, I could talk a little bit about some of the future possible plans, things that we'd like to do in the future.
Yeah, let's touch on that.
Okay.
Understanding that this is theoretical and this is what we're going to plan on doing.
And there's going to be a little bit of a lift in that. And so one of the things that is phenomenal is this pipeline, which in black, which runs all the way up here, actually continues on that way and continues on that way, a significant different distance. That pipeline here requires 750 pounds of pressure just to enter the line. So we have to overcome that pressure with compressors. This area here, part of the pipeline, owns 5 acres right in this area that has direct access onto that pipeline, which means that in the future, when things align properly, instead of being over here with Mustang saying, hey, Mustang, will you buy our gas? Will you take this stuff? We'll be able to sit right here in this area, do all the stripping, all the cleaning, and everything, which just increases. It's just another opportunity for us to fine-tune our efforts and deliver a higher grade, which is just more royalties to the
Just creates
system.
a bigger yield
Just
for us.
a bigger yield for the system. Yeah, it's awesome.
And again, on our side of things, we're constantly restricting stuff. On your side of things, you're constantly expanding things.
Absolutely,
And
which makes the perfect sandwich.
it's the recipe for success.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. Anything else you want to touch on?
You know, I think that's pretty much the update I've got for now on NatG and BGLD.
The only thing else that I'll leave on.
Yeah, please.
This is only one.
Okay. That's right. Well, and you're absolutely right, because we've actually had phone calls from other pipelines saying, hey, we see what you guys are doing. Would you guys consider doing that with us? And so you're right. There's only so many hours in the day, and I only have 2 legs and 2 feet. We've got a team behind us, but we can only run so fast. And what we've been able to accomplish in the short amount of time that we have is phenomenal. I mean, it's absolutely remarkable. And the attention that we're getting is to the moon. It's crazy. I pinch myself all the time. I'm like, is this real? Are these guys really calling us and saying, hey, can we be a part of your project? And they are. It's phenomenal. So you're right. This is only one. This is the start. I'd like to get into some of the stuff that's going on in Ghana when the time is
I think
right.
we'll touch on that in another.
No.
But that's
when
a good
the time
hint.
is right. But I just want you guys to know there is a pretty awesome update coming. That's NatG and BGLD that you guys will be impressed with. I mean, this is just a start.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's very exciting to see how quick this has expanded. I don't know of another blockchain project in the oil and gas industry that has gone from conception to having over 200 participants, and growing at a rapid rate like we are. We truly believe that the digitization of assets is the next big run. BlackRock came out and said it's going to be a $7 to $20 trillion industry.
And that's massive.
We're 2 years ahead of the game.
You're not kidding.
And
and thanks to the support of the ecosystem. Really, I can't thank you guys enough for all of the support that you guys give us. It's phenomenal to know that there's somebody behind us on those rainy days, on those hard days. And let me tell you guys, those of you that went to Ghana, if you think Ghana's hot, go to Oklahoma. It is so hot and so humid. In fact, we had one of our Ghanaian partners out to see what we've done in in Oklahoma. And he's like, my gosh, take me home. This is ridiculously hot. So it knowing that you guys are behind us it means a lot.
It takes a village. We all play our role, but we're all needed in this, algorithm of success that we have created here.
Absolutely. And Jake, right back at you. I appreciate what you and Jason do all the time, because there's just not enough bandwidth to be able to play on every aspect of this. And the lift that it takes for what you guys are doing is significant, just like it is for us. So, right back at you. I really, really, truly appreciate what you guys do.
Thank you. I think we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I hope that this was informative. Again, this is kind of a little bit of a sneak peek into some of the information that you guys are going to be able to get once we go to the layer 1, real time. You guys are going to be able to go on and see exactly what this meter's doing, what that meter's doing, all from the comfort of your own home. We're incredibly excited. Nobody else is doing anything like that. So with this, I thank you for your time, Roy.
Absolutely.
And the DEBTbox community, happy mining.